So I gotta ask, have you ever wondered why Gen X is often perceived as being cynical and not taking things seriously? Gen X, we are often branded with this reputation of wielding this double-edged sword of self-deprecating humor and cynicism, as if we mastered the art of laughing at ourselves while simultaneously questioning the world around us. Now, this video isn't about painting all Xers with the same brush. No. It's about attempting to unravel the threads of this particular humor style, its origins and implications. Why is it that our generation, more than any other, tends to use our own shortcomings and mishaps as the punchlines of our jokes? And when we do, why do we do it with such a cynical twist? Where does this sense of humor come from? And is it just a generational characteristic, or is there more to it? Now, to understand this style of humor, we need to explore the two main aspects of it, the psychological and the sociological. So let's start with the psychological aspect. Now, it's crucial to understand that humor, especially the self-deprecating kind, is often used as a coping mechanism. And for us Xers, this was developed during our upbringing. Because we grew up in that time of significant change and uncertainty, with our social, economic, and political upheaval being the order of the day. And this resulted in the environment that was ripe for the development of our resilience and our adaptability. And humor, it became the tool for dealing with these negative experiences. And the influence of our childhood on our humor style is profound. Many psychologists believe that our sense of humor is largely developed in your early years, shaped by your experiences and the environment in which we're raised. And for Gen X, for us, this is a time of major disillusionment, a time when many of the promises of the past seem to be completely falling apart. Now, our disillusionment, coupled with the uncertainty of these times, it led to a humor style that was cynical, often dark, but was truly deeply insightful. We learned to use humor as a shield, a way to deflect from the harsh realities of the world. What else is humor for? This humor allowed us to take control of the narrative. It reframed our experiences in a way that made them manageable. This is where self-deprecating aspect comes in. By making ourselves the butt of these jokes, we could control the narrative. We dictated the terms of our own story. Now, this is not to say that all humor is doom and gloom. Far from it. It's often clever, sharp, deeply insightful. We use humor to shine a light on the absurdities of life, to highlight the contradictions and the hypocrisies that we see around us at all times. It's a humor that is born out of a deep understanding of the human condition, a humor that is both shield and a sword. So as we see, the roots of our humor style are deep-seated in our psyche, but it's only half the story. So then you have to go on to the sociological factor. Picture this. It's the 70s and the 80s, and times they are changing. The economy is in a state of flux, the political landscape is rocky, and the cultural shifts are happening left and right. And center, can't forget center. And this is the world that Gen X grew up in. Now imagine being a kid in this era. You're trying to make sense of the world around you. And in the backdrop, you have the Cold War, the rise of conservatism, and the global economic recession. Global. It's like trying to play a game of chess on a roller coaster. These economic conditions were far from stable. Unemployment was high. Many families faced extreme financial hardship. This uncertainty and hardship, it had a profound impact on us and our worldview. It made us realize that life is unpredictable and often unfair. So how do you cope with such a world? Well, you laugh at it, of course. And the political climate was equally tumultuous. It was the era of the Watergate scandal, the Iran-Contra affair, the fall of the Berlin Wall. We saw leaders who were supposed to be role models fall from grace. And this led to the general sense of disillusionment and skepticism towards authority figures. And what's the best way to deal with your delusionment? You got it, humor. But the influences on our humor didn't stop there. There were also significant cultural shifts taking place. It was the time when the traditional family structure was changing. Divorce rates were sky high. The number of single-parent households was on the rise. And these changes challenged the idealized family structure. Now, the previous generations, they held these things dear. And Gen X, we had to navigate these changes and find our place in this new world order. There's that word, new world order. And humor particularly self-deprecating humor, became a way for us to express our experiences and our feelings. I mean, in essence, our humor style reflects the societal changes that we experienced during our most impressionable years. Now, our humor, I mean, it's a mirrored version of our world, unpredictable, challenging, and always in flux. So these sociological factors, combined with the psychological aspects that I discussed earlier, they provide the comprehensive understanding as to why us Xers use self-deprecating humor. Now, our humor style just isn't confined to personal interactions. It's prevalent in pop culture too. I mean, take for instance the countless sitcoms and movies that sprung up during the 90s and early 2000s, often showcasing characters who embodied the essence of Gen X self-deprecating humor. I mean, take the iconic sitcom Friends. I mean, could Chandler Bing have been any more self-deprecating? I mean, his quick-witted sarcasm and self-mocking comments, I mean, they were often about his job or love life. I mean, perfectly encapsulated this humor style. Or think about stand-up comedians by Louis C.K., who built careers on making light of their own shortcomings and life's absurdities. Similarly, films like Fight Club, Office Space, I mean, they didn't shy away from presenting characters that were disillusioned with societal norms and used humor as the coping mechanism. I mean, these examples not only entertained us, but offered a mirror to the Gen X unique perspective of life. So from personal interactions to pop culture, I mean, our self-deprecating humor is a significant part of our identity. So in conclusion, I gotta say that Gen X humor isn't just about making people laugh. It's much more than that. It's a reflection of our experiences, our upbringing, and our worldview. I mean, we've seen how self-deprecating humor, often perceived as cynicism, is a product of various psychological and sociological factors. I mean, just to take a quick review on it, I mean, the psychological aspects highlighting how this generation of ours used humor as a coping mechanism, transforming negative experiences from our childhood into material for jokes. We also navigated through the sociological terrain, understanding how our societal influences faced during our upbringing shaped our unique brand of humor. You have to remember this humor isn't confined to our personal interactions. We reflected it in popular culture through movies, TV shows, stand-up comedy, and we made an indelible mark on the world around us. It's a complex blend of psychological coping mechanisms and sociological influences, making it a fascinating topic to explore. And remember, humor is a way of life, not just a way to entertain. This is Drac saying until next time, be safe, everybody, and peace out.